Panthers and Cougars, two big cats from entirely different parts of the world who have never met in battle before until tonight. Join us tonight for the ultimate showdown. Hello and welcome everybody to this week's UNI Panther Esports League of Legends broadcast. This week, we have the University of Northern Iowa Purple Team playing against Southern Illinois University Edwardsville. My name is Joe, and tonight I will be both casting and producing this match. Currently, UNI Purple are 0-1 in the season with a crushing 2-0 defeat against UT Tyler last week, and SIUE are also 0-1 so far this season, suffering a disappointing 2-1 defeat against Marquette Varsity League. Streaming tonight we're going to be streaming with Riot's 3-minute delay plus 2 additional minutes, so there will be a 5-minute delay. So if anybody in the chat wants to reach out, it's going to be a little bit of a delay. I apologize for that. Um, it's going to be in Fearless draft mode. I'll get into that later. But really quick, while I have people's attention, I do want to talk about Northern Iowa Knockout 3. It is a Super Smash Bros. Ultimate Tournament hosted at the University of Northern Iowa. Northern Iowa Knockout is UNI's annual Super Smash Bros. Event, so join us in Mock Reunion on October 25th at noon when players come together and take part in a variety of modes, brackets, and tournaments at this annual event. Whether you're a more competitive player or a more relaxed player, there will be games for you. Competitive players who proceed further in the tournaments can look forward to a cash prize, with the top 8 players receiving a payout, and more relaxed players, you guys can look forward to more friendly matches throughout the day. And people who bring their own stuff, like controllers and uh, cords and whatnot, you guys can receive a discount and as a reduced entry fee. And people who carpool can also receive a reduced entry fee. Additionally, this event will be live streamed with casters. Now, I'm not going to be there casting, but one of my friends, Hunter, will be casting there. So if you guys are a fan of Hunter's casts, make sure to check out the stream that day and support people. It's a great way for friends and family to support and virtually cheer for your players. And the main stream with commentary will be on this Twitch channel at twitch.tv/UNI underscore Panther underscore esports. Uh, Again, this event is for everyone, and all players of all skill levels can come, both friendly and competitive. Bring your friends or whoever you want to come. Like, seriously, we want everyone. Please visit start.gg/tournament/northern-iowa-knockout-3/details for more information regarding parking, pricing, and scheduling. Registration is open now. Please note that registration for certain modes um, that ends a little bit sooner, so make sure to register in advance for October 25th at noon. Anyways, we're going to be getting back into some league information here. I do need to point out it has been a minute since I've played, and it has been a minute since I've streamed, and I'm doing this all on my own, so bear with me, viewers. I think the UNI lineup this week is going to be the Dalai Lama, Dakota. I think they're going to be in top. Biohazard, 386, Brianna in the jungle. Muffin Trooper, Kyle in mid maybe. I know Nick Fury Nick is going to be in bot. He played. I streamed for him a couple years ago. He's very good. It's going to be a great game to watch. And then Collapse is filling in tonight, I think, for support. I'm not 100% certain. I think the players will be moving around in roles throughout the game. I mentioned earlier that this is going to be in Fearless mode. I don't know if you guys have been watching Pro Play at all recently, but they've sort of adapted this tournament format where um, champions that are picked by a roster in prior games of the match will be banned in subsequent games for the rest of said match. Champions banned due to their use in prior matches are termed fearless bans. For example, we can do this. So for game one, we're going to get 10 standard bans. Game two, we're going to get 10 standard bans plus 10 fearless bans, which were the ones used in game one. So for a total of 20 bans. Then so once we get to game three, we're going to have 10 more bans plus those 20 fearless bans banned previously in the other games. Uh, so, one tricks that is not going to be super helpful in these games. One tricking one champion will get you in trouble later on in the series. Now, I do want to take a quick second. If you guys are Panther Esports fans or want to support us, do go ahead and scroll down and click our merch link. That will bring you to, or type exclamation point merch. That will bring you to our merch page where we got shirts, t-shirts, sweatshirts, jerseys, and they're cheaper than like regular jerseys, and you can customize them. You can put your own gamer tag or your name on the back, whatever you want. And the link is guardianproline.com/collections/northern-iowa-panther-esports. So if you guys want to support us, do click that link, type exclamation point merch. But if you don't want to buy anything and you just want to support in any way you can, type Go Cats in the chat. I know that both teams are Cats. I know SIUE is technically Cougars and UNI Purple is the Panthers, but we all know who the real Cats are here. Anyways, right now we're just waiting on SIUE's support player. He is almost ready. Everybody else in the lobby is just kind of chilling and hanging out, and I am as well. I'm going to talk about. Uh, so I do have the ranks of UNI pulled up. I don't have ranks of SIUE. Dalai Lama is Emerald, Nick Fury's Emerald, Muffin Trooper's Gold, Jinx is Gold, and Biohazard 386 is Iron. So a lot of different ranks in this game. It should be interesting. The client says that SIUE has some Platinum and Emerald and Silver players, but that could be their ranks from 5v5 or from TFT. So I don't actually know what their ranks are going to be. Uh, I do have a large pool of playable characters for everybody. I'm just going to talk about Nick first because I know only I think like two of the roles are for sure, and Nick is pretty much always going to be bot lane as the ADC. We've seen what he can do in years past. I do not doubt that tonight will be any different. He plays a lot of Jhin, Smolder, Caitlyn. I've seen him play some very good Xayah. Uh, there's some other champs on there like Asol and Hui that I don't know if he'll go, but that could make for an interesting broadcast tonight if he does decide to do those. Otherwise, I think Biohazard, Brianna, forgive me if I'm pronouncing names incorrectly, they are going to be in the jungle. I think they're going to play maybe Cho'Gath. Ooh, it says they play Nico. I'd be really excited to see some Nico shenanigans this game. Fiddlesticks or Trundle. I'm seeing a lot of different characters that everybody could play, and that's going to be really important when you're going into this Fearless draft. Remember, you can't play anything that was played previously. So it's going to be pretty spicy coming out here. I think we're still waiting on SIUE's support. I don't know how long it is before a forfeit happens, but until we get more word, I'm going to stop wasting your guys' time, and we're just going to play a little music and hang out. All right, welcome back, everybody. Sorry about that delay. Right now, I am just making sure we are pick and ban draft is working. Um, it looks like, oop, it looks like the SIU support has arrived. Let me get this up here. Uh, okay, this will do. So, really quick, just so the viewers are aware, when these teams play, they will do their bans picks and bans in a external place like this. I'm not quite sure why, but it is interesting. So we see UNI already going to go ahead and ban Kha'Zix and Senna, and SIUE are going to ban Smolder and Seraphine. Right now it is UNI's turn to ban, and they're going to go ahead and ban Dr. Mundo. SIUE will ban something next, and then UNI will pick first. Now I was thinking they're going to ban Darius. So I was thinking when we were having our slight delay about what kinds of team drafts that we're going to see from both teams. Now I mentioned some comfort picks for some of the UNI players, but I don't know that they're necessarily going to pick those because it's different than a solo queue game. So you're going to be wanting to maybe pick something with a little bit more team fight potential, like Jin. You and I immediately lock it in. Great character. I've main Jin for a long time. Ton of utility, a ton of damage. Very solid. SIUE are going to respond with a Jin Zhao in Jinx pick, which is interesting. Uh, the Jin can work out pretty well with his ult, making it so projectiles won't damage him from outside that circle. Meanwhile, the Jinx is a late game hyper carry threat that you and I have to keep in their mind. It is tough for Jin to out DPS a Jinx. If he gets some good crits and can, two or three shot her, it's okay. But we're gonna see Nami picked up by UNI, the classic Jin Nami bot lane. I've done that many a time. It is very good. That Nami bubble, the wave, the move speed from Nami. Jin likes all of those things. So, and honestly, the rest of the team is gonna like all of the CC that and utility that Nami have to offer. So right now, right away, we can see that UNI's draft has a lot of utility, a lot of crowd control, and they're gonna pick Volibear. I think that's a pretty good frontline tank to get in there to make space for Jin and Nami to do some work, and he could benefit quite a bit from the movement speed that Nami's abilities will give. Let's see what SIU goes ahead and picks. Uh, oop, uh, okay, so they're gonna go with a Karma pick. And now it is their turn to ban. I think Jinx Karma bot lane is pretty solid. I think that there maybe could be better picks. Oh, it could be Karma mid or the rare Karma top. I don't know if Karma mid or top is played that much these days. Admittedly, it's been a bit since I've played, but there has been many metas where Karma mid is good. Like when Malignance came out, originally Karma mid was very strong. The way it interacts with her ult. But we'll see what goes on for the rest of the draft here. We're going to see SIUE ban the Nasus, which I think is really an interesting choice of ban. Uh, I think that they're just worried about somebody that being somebody's comfort pick, and you and I are gonna go ahead and ban Ornn. I think Ornn is a great ban. That guy is so hard to kill. He's got so much CC. He is Jin as a carries. Uh, he's his worst nightmare. And then SIUE are gonna finish with a Rise ban, which I don't see too often, but is interesting. No Blue Man group this series. I I do like me some Rise. Unfortunately, we're not gonna be seeing him. You and I's turn to ban last here. I'm thinking Volibear's going to be in the jungle and Nami's support with the Jin, and UNI's going to ban Shen. So it looks like both teams are now trying to prioritize their mid lane and top lane. Now SIUE does have the advantage here. Um, I think it's an advantage at least of banning second, which means that they're also going to pick last, which means that they can at least have one person on their team counterpick somebody on UNI. I would be very surprised if SAUE's coach did not help these players prioritize their top lane last, which when I last played was the most important, and it appears to be the most important now, unless Viagar or Karma are going to be top. I don't think that they will, or the rare Jin Zhao top. I think that is a little troll, and I don't know if the players are going to go for it, but UNI's turn to respond to the pick here. Their team is looking pretty good so far in terms of team fight. They're going to go with Vex. I think that is a pretty good response to the Vigar pick. Vex has a lot of AoE, a lot of that area denial that you're going to need when you're looking at a Xin Zhao who's going to be trying to dive you, when you're looking at a Jinx who's going to be wanting to chase you and kite you away. The Vex is going to help a lot with both of those characters. I think Vex might struggle a little bit into Karma's shields. Um, and I think Vex struggles a little bit into Vigar. I can't remember the Vex Vigar matchup. One of them has an easier time, and I can't remember which. I mean, when Vex ults Vigar, he can just throw a cage down on himself, and Vex will get stunned. So you and I are gonna go ahead and with the Jax pick in the top lane, and it looks like SIUE are gonna go with the Camille pick, which is an interesting matchup to say the least. It is pretty tough for both players if either of them mess up their ability timings. That top lane matchup is going to be important this game. We're going to be watching that a lot. If Jax gets strong, he's going to be a monster. If Camille gets strong, she's going to be a monster. But Jax has to use his Counter Strike correctly, and Camille has to use her Q ability correctly and not waste it into the Counter Strike. So very interesting drafts by both teams. It looks like SIUE are looking for a little bit more of a scrappy fight team, when UNI is looking for a little bit more of a 4v4, 4v5 team fight oriented team, and letting Jax turn into the split pushing demon that he turns into. Really quick, we are going to get. Okay, so the next part does suck a little bit, viewers. Oh my goodness. I hope this hasn't been black for you guys. No, that's my bad. Okay, so this next part is going to be a little bit rough because League has a built-in 3-minute delay for the spectators. Whenever they get into champion select here, and I'll let you guys know, it is going to be a short period until they're in game. And I've already talked a lot about what I think is going to be going on here. Let me let them know I'm ready. So I'm going to be playing some music again, but once we get back in, it's going to be a good time. Remember, we're going to have to watch that Jax Camille matchup. I think Vex and Vigar are just going to be mostly farming and poking each other. Maybe Xin Zhao will come and bug Vex. It's kind of hard for Volley to gank Vigar because of the cage. It's kind of hard for Volley to gank the Camille because she has her rope legs to escape, and it's kind of hard for Xin Zhao to gank Jax because of the counter strike. He can dodge the empowered autos from Xin Zhao and not be knocked up. So I think it dodges the knockup. I know it dodges the damage. I can't remember. I think Jin and Nami and Jinx and Karma are going to be mostly farming bot. I think if there's going to be any play potential, it's going to be on the side of UNI because Jin and Nami have way more utility in CC than Karma and Jinx. Jin has that long range W, and Nami has her bubble and ult. Meanwhile, Karma's just got the tether, and Jinx just has the rocket snap trap things. So, right now, the players are going to be going into their bands. I'll go ahead and show that just because, why not? And they have updated Xin Zhao's splash art since I last played again. They've done that a couple of times throughout the years. It's interesting. Um, I think late game, um, on paper, team fight wise, I think UNI has a little bit of an edge. However, I think getting to the late game, SIUE has an edge because Xin Zhao is pretty strong early, and I don't know. They've got the Vigar and the Jinx for the late game, but if Camille or Xin Zhao falls behind, or especially if Vigar falls behind, uh, it's gonna be a little bit tougher for them to come back. We have to keep in mind SIUE is always going to have the Vigar cage as pick potential, and if you don't have a flash, that is pretty devastating to be inside of that cage, especially like when you're anybody on UNI, because none of them have a blink ability like an Ezreal. But on the flip side, if Vigar's ever out of position, he is pretty dead meat for UNI. They've got a lot of long range because of the Jin. and I know Nick knows his Jin quite a bit, so we'll see how it goes here. We are going to be waiting. It is 38 seconds plus those 3 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and mute myself. We're going to listen to music and hang out for a couple minutes. We'll be right back, guys. But they both have pretty good pick potential going into this game. Bot lane gonna be kinda not a lot going on until Nami and Jin start stepping on the gas, or unless Jin Zhao shows up and ganks for their Jinx and Karma. And in mid lane, just a reminder, they are probably gonna be poking and farming most of the match. Let's all do a collective prayer that Riot's service does not screw us over here, and I am able to just successfully load in. Currently, it's giving me some problems, so please bear with. Okay, we are in a load screen. That is good. I wanted to put a lowercase on the E in SIUE. My bad. I'll get to it when I get to it. A lot of mastery on some of these characters here. Nick with the highest on Jin, and Camille coming in second. Everybody plays their characters quite a bit in this game, or most people do. So we should see some fire gameplay. Just a second here, guys. I'm sorry. It is doing its best. Oh man. You hate the dead air. Well, it is what it is. We are going to be coming in here. Just a reminder, UNI Purple is playing against Southern Illinois University, Edwardsville. This is Fearless Draft, so I should have kept that last draft link open so I could remember everybody who was draft and or sorry, everybody who was banned and tell you guys that for the future games, but I don't know that I'm ever going to get into game. Let's see. A lot of technical difficulties so far. I'm gonna just hit the be right back screen here. I want to figure out what's going on. Sorry, guys. Oh, of course, right when I do that, it loads in. You know, I wonder if Streamlabs had anything to do with that not loading. Sorry, SIUE, I will fix the E in your title card when I get a chance here. Everybody kind of just hanging out. Normally, we see a what UNI is doing here, where they kind of guard every entrance, but looks like SIUE is doing a little bit of a cheese here. Now this is this is UNI's vision. They don't know, and this is SIUE's vision, so they have no idea where everybody is right now. Looks like Turbo on the Karma there. Excuse me, almost said Renata. Just gonna hang out in that bush. Everybody just kind of hanging out. Volley gonna do the leashless start. I like that. Doesn't need one. Same thing with Jin over here. We're gonna be going back in and seeing everything that's up right now. Top lane is where I wanted to keep looking here. These are just gonna be hanging out now. Camille did start W first, which is good when you wanna trade early. Look at these. Oh, Jack's going in with the E here. Getting some early poke on the Camille. Camille getting that W and grass proc trade back. Meanwhile, mid lane, we get Muffin Trooper getting the electrocute proc on. Vigar, that's some good early poke. Meanwhile, bot, what are we doing down here? I think we're just farming the early level 2 from SIUE. They're going to push. They're going to get aggressive. Chunking both members of UNI down. A lot of damage. Nick not able to get that 4th shot off on the Karma. He's going to be going ahead and backing off. Meanwhile, both junglers taking their 3rd camp right now. Haven't played a bit. Sorry about that. And bot lane just going to be going back and hanging. SIUE putting up a ward over here. Meanwhile, top, both players getting in each other's face. Dalai Lama looking for that early ward. I like that for that probably 3-minute, 4-minute gank that we're going to see from Jin Zhao here. Especially with the wave state and the way it is. It's going to be pushing at Camille. Meanwhile, in mid, it is pushing towards Muffin Trooper UNI. So that is good. Muffin Trooper is going to be nice and safe from a gank. And Jax is going to see how... Oh, I thought he was going to go for that back because he sees he's out of position here. He knows that this wave is too far in front of the Camille's tower, and he is a little bit anxious walking up. I can tell. Goes to that E. Now, if SIUE are talking, they're going to be talking and say, Camille's going to say, Jax E is on cooldown. And maybe Jin's going to go over there, but he goes to the Krug before red, which is interesting. He wants that buff to last longer. Jax going to be staying up here really low. He's looking at this Camille, but he has got to know that the jungler is over there. We're going to see a ping come out from UNI. Meanwhile, in the bot lane, both sides just kind of poking and farming. Now, I know already I'm going to look away, and I'm going to miss a Karma bubble and a Jhin fourth shot, and one of these guys is going to die. They are both really low. As a Jhin player, Oh, here's the flat fourth shot from Ning. The Q in there, and gets the... Oh my god, the Deadly Flourish W. Landing it for the kill. Meanwhile, in top, jungler has been spotted. He's going to go ahead and have to recall. That is wasted time. A little bit of a misplay on SIU's part. I think that maybe instead of going to Krug first, he should have taken his red path through try and gone for the gank when Jax was getting greedy in front of the turret when that Counter-Strike was on cooldown. Meanwhile, bot lane, Jin's going to be low and out of mana. He's going to be looking for a back soon. Meanwhile, some on-the-way pings are coming out from SIU towards the Dragon. It's going to be spawning in 30 seconds here. I think there's a way for me to show that. Objective timers. Yeah, it's over here. Nice. It's kind of a weird looking. I like the way it is in Riot streams better. You'd think that it'd be a little bit better in the spectator client, but it is not. Meanwhile, both top laners full of health and mana. Maybe looking to trade. Jax does not want to. He's going to let that wave crash. It's smart. Meanwhile, SIU going to be looking for a back here. Biohazard, Volibear has not gone for a recall yet. There's a way to see. I'm sorry here. Oop, I accidentally paused it. Don't worry about that. There's a way to see how much gold they all have, and I do not remember what that button is right now at this time. I'm sorry about that. Meanwhile, Volibear going to be spotting the ward. That's a good look by him. Well, top lane, they are just duking it out. Not a whole lot happening on the map right now. Both junglers kind of just hanging out and farming. I think Volibear likes hanging out and farming a little bit more, but it looks like Biohazard, Brianna, is going to be going forward. They're looking for a bit of a play here. I think it's a little bit risky because of the whole no items thing, but here we go, a fight happening. Xin going in with the gank, gonna be catching Nick out of position. There's nothing he can do. He's dead from the tether and the Karma tether and the knockup from Xin Zhao. Meanwhile, Biohazard gonna be getting spotted by that scuttle. He's gonna have to run away. Jin's going to go ahead and take it with the prio he's built himself in the bot lane. So right now, things looking not amazing for UNI. I need to figure out what that button is to see how much money they have. But it is going to be a little bit of an advantage here for SIU. Even though UNI has the gold advantage, my game is frozen. I don't know what the deal here is with this frozen game. Speed it up here. Don't catch up. It's just frozen. I don't know what the deal with that is. Huh. Playback just stopped right here. I don't get it. I don't know if they paused or something. I'll tell you what, I'm gonna just go ahead and re-engage spectating here. Maybe it'll fix itself. Maybe not. I'm gonna quit out of this. Oh, I actually don't know if I can quit out and come back. Huh. Don't know what the dealio with this is. Come back here. Yeah, I'm not really sure what's going on here, viewers. I'm sorry. Let me try to figure this out. I'm afraid that if I quit out, I will not be able to get back in. So let me reach out here. normally when there is a pause, I'm pretty sure that we can see it in the spectator client, and I don't really know why we can't. When I speed up here, yeah, it just stops. I would love... I'm gonna hit exit game. We'll see what happens here. If I just broke... Oh, great. I cannot come back in. I love that. Well, that sucks. Hang on. Okay, so we're back. I don't know what that was. I was able to get back into spectating by spectating Nink. Since we've been gone, UNI has taken a Drake, and they are up 2 kills. The score is 5-3. We're sorry about that delay. We're gonna do our best to just have the rest of the game be normal. I have no idea what that was. Looks like UNI's bot turret is a little beat up. Both bot turrets are beat up. Both mid turrets are a little beat up, and both top turrets are pretty healthy. We got vision everywhere right now. This is UNI's vision, looking a little bit lacking, but there's a fight breaking out in the bot lane right now. Nink getting caught out of position. Andy's gonna go down for it. Meanwhile, Nami, Jinx is gonna be running. They're gonna get Karma tethered, but they were under turret, and Jin didn't want to go for it. But meanwhile, here comes Muffin Trooper with the fat ult. Gonna be going in, landing 2 on here. That Vygar cage not fast enough, as Muffin Trooper is able to pick up the 2-piece, maybe a 3-piece here, as they get their ult back on them again. Meanwhile, here comes Jin Zhao. Muffin Trooper, you gotta find a way out. It might be under the turrets. He places the Farsight ward, is able to get the fear onto the Vygar, but meanwhile, Modio, hanging out on his jungle camp, has no interest in helping, but it doesn't matter because Vygar's got this in the bag. Coming back over here, Volibear can be taking that top scuttle to the vision. Blue buff up for somebody who wants it. Right now, I was starting to say this before that fight, but I do like SIUE's vision a little bit better right now. I like this ward in the tri-bush, and I really like this ward in the jungle. Karma getting another good ward up, good ward turbo. Meanwhile, they're going to be sneaking behind. UNI have no idea right now. Okay, they know the Jin trap spotted. Meanwhile, Nink going to be landing the Deadly Flourish on the Jin Zhao. He's trying to chase for the Karma. Karma getting bursted and out of there. Nink doing his best to kite and survive right now. Ooh, man. And he is going to be going down as a 2-piece for SIUE, putting them ahead in gold by around 900. Not the best for UNI, but it is recoverable. I do want to figure out how I could, there's a way to do it, to switch this to see their gold. I just don't remember. Comes the Vex ult coming in from Muffin Trooper, gonna be connecting, not gonna be enough to kill. They're just doing their best to save this turret right now. Let's get back to everybody's vision. There was a Xin Zhao waiting. I think that's good that Vex didn't go in. They didn't know, but maybe getting that burst damage. A little ward by SIUE down. Get first turret from UNI. I think that gives them a feat, or gave them the feats. Let's put the frames up here like this. Let's see if I have the buttons pulled, maybe. Okay, we're going to be seeing a Jin ult coming out from Nick here. Trying to catch this Jinx, not able to land that fourth shot, not able to land the deadly flourish. And the Jinx is going to be able to make it out of there. Not to be confused with UNI's Jinx on the Nami. We'll be back in pretty far away here. Vigar coming in with the gank. Nink not spotting it yet. Okay, now Vigar is seen. This is the shared, or this is UNI's vision right now. As Turbo on the Karma is sneaking around. Where is Vigar? He's over here. Turbo still getting behind. UNI, they might know, but Turbo is just going to go ahead and hang out. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, UNI spotting a gank from Modio. Muffin Trooper keeping his eyes peeled, watching out. Top lane, both players just kind of hanging out. I would really like to find out how to switch this to gold. If anybody knows in the chat, do chime in. A lot of pings coming out right now. Teleport coming in from Camille into UNI's jungle. Big fight coming right now. Camille, the deadly flourish from Jin misses. Right now, Biohazard trying to get this red buff. Will be on to be able to secure it before Camille walks up and spots them. That ward, I don't think it saw Volibear. UNI are going to be going ahead and giving away this Drake to SIUE. I don't think UNI are going to contest here because Jax is pushing out, getting some free farm while the Camille rotated. Jax did have TP up, I think. It's up now. I don't know if it was up when the play happened. But Karma, Turbo doing a great job with the vision this game. Getting a little bit of a back cancel on Brianna there. That is most irksome as they secure some good vision for their team right now. Meanwhile, Nink is a little bit worried to walk up. I think they suspect he's over here still. It's true, he is. Get a scuttle, Jin Zhao. And Jinx is in mid, just pushing. Right now, SIUE has a tower advantage. They've got one more. They've got that bot lane turret and the mid lane turret, but UNI's only got the top lane tower. And UNI are down around 2,000 gold now, so the pressure is on for UNI to not mess up. The game is still relatively even despite that gold difference, but oops, but it is gonna be all right. In mid lane here, not a lot happening. That's a nasty bounce from Nink onto the Jinx. We're taking some damage. The Jinx right now has a Yuntal that's stacking up, and Jin has a collector, or sorry, yeah, a collector, and he's got a last whisper. So Jin has a lot of lethality and armor pen right now, so it's going to be really helpful to deal with the Camille and the Xin Zhao later, because they will probably be stacking a little bit of armor for survivability here. I just want to point out, look at SIU's vision on the map right now. We got ward here, 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 and over here. And then this is UNI's vision. We got one Farsight here, that's going to be gone, a ward there. A little bit of vision here, but not a ton. I think you and I need to lock it in a little bit in the vision department. No fights happening or nothing. Top lane, they're just kind of pushing. Looks like they're trying to go to fight using the Rift Herald as a little bit of a bait here. They're going to go for the tower here. They see two people. I don't know if they see. Yeah, they do. They see the Xin Zhao. Muffin Trooper going to be dealing with a 1v2 situation here. Just flashes away, gets the fear on that guy. Really good spacing by Muffin Trooper, but meanwhile top, their SIU's base is getting laid to waste as the Volley Bear Jax combo comes out. Camille gonna be eating in, ulting onto the Volley Bear there, trying to focus him down, does end up taking him out. Dalai Lama doing his best for the tower dive here, picks it up, is he gonna live? Oh! And Dalai Lama living, he's gotta get out of there because here comes SIUE. Turbo coming in on the Karma with those speed boosts. Jax trying to counter strike, but it's not enough, and he goes down. Meanwhile, SIUE getting set up for the next Drake. They take it? No, they're just getting set up. Right now, Muffin Trooper getting engaged on by the Jhin. Modio knows that Vex has no flash for the next couple of minutes. Jinx is just going to continue to farm away here as they pick up a BF sword, and Jhin hasn't backed in a while. I'll tell you what, I will figure out how to see the gold in between games when we're waiting for the spectator delay on the next game. We're seeing some pings coming out from UNI here as they spot two members of SIUE in the jungle. They see one get out through the rift gate. Nothing's going to come of it. Karma just getting so aggressive with the positioning this game. I like that from Turbo. It took a little bit for them to get into the lobby, but not very long for them to get into this game. This Karma is everywhere. Volley Bear kind of hanging out right now. Everybody just kind of hanging out. There's a lot of bounties on members of SIUE. If you and I are able to pick up a kill, especially on the Jhin Zhao, that's an easy extra 350 gold. Meanwhile, in mid, just kind of farming. Jax maybe getting a push. There's two members on UNI that might jump the Camille here. Here comes the Volley Berry. Stun on the creep. It's not going to connect, and neither is the Vex ult. A bit of a waste of time from UNI, but it's okay. They got the wave. Might not be okay, because right now this is what UNI sees. I don't know that they know that Jinx is over here, and Nick certainly doesn't know. He's got to be careful. They see Nick, and Nick only sees Karma. Nick doesn't even. Okay, he's got to run. Karma on the trap, mixes his deadly flourish. Excuse me. And they're just gonna run away. A lot of just hanging out this game. I don't dislike that. You know, gotta be safe. Gotta make good decisions in order to win, but it does lead to kind of explosive situations later on in the game. Right now, Jax hanging out on this ward. Vigar doesn't know, and neither does Jhin Zhao. He's walking around. I think they might suspect because of this ward here. If Jax rotated off into the jungle, they would have spotted him. Here comes Jax from around the outside. Nobody saw Dalai Lama coming. Biohazard and Dalai Lama trying to mess up the Jhin. He ults and flashes away. Jax getting back in there. Here comes the ult from the Jax. The Jinx coming in from the side. UNI chasing pretty far here into the jungle. Kind of under the turrets. Here comes the Camille ult coming in hard. Oh, meanwhile, two members of UNI go down. 3 members of UNI are going down. 4 members of UNI are going to go down. And I think that's going to be an ace for SIUE if Muffin Trooper goes down as well. That was a little bit of a disaster for UNI there. We can go ahead and rewind 30 seconds and just watch it back. Here we're going to see the Jax jumping in, the Jinx W coming in, hitting the Jax. I think where it started to go wrong here is when Jinx rooted Jax with the snap traps there. He's just going to do his best to get out. Nami has to go out of position to save that Jax, and so does Jhin. He blows his flash. What a devastating fight for UNI as the rest just get chased down. Got that Vigar. How many stacks does Vigar have right now? Let's see. It's got 232 stacks, so that's an extra 232 ability power all the time for them. Looks like Vex picks up a kill on Jinx here. And both teams trade a turret. It's a really nice pick by Vex. Go ahead and get the present. They don't kill anybody here. They are just kind of skirting around each other, maybe poking for some Baron positioning. Meanwhile, Jax has been in the bot lane, pushing it up. Let me get caught up here. Now we're back in normal speed. Ace is from like a minute ago. Don't worry about it. Camille trying her best to the outplay on the Jax. Uses the ult to dodge the counter-strike. Jax gonna have to flash over that wall. Here comes the Camille. Does not connect. W connects. Jax running for his life right now. Camille coming up in 2 more seconds. Not going to be enough. Jax out of position here. I think his members of UNI are telling him, hey, we saw some guys in this area, and you're over here. You got to get out of there. So he is. Good job right now. Right now we're looking at a 2-level level advantage between Biohazard and Modio in the jungle, which can be a little bit of a game changer. Years ago, it used to be a huge game changer with smite numbers, but nowadays, it just kind of deals with your tankiness and your ability to do damage. But it's alright. I think Volibear is one of those characters that likes the levels, but his base kit is pretty strong on its own with the shield and the W. He can kind of stay in fights for a while. Especially, I wonder if she's built something different. Stop doing that. There we go. Interesting. The Cosmic Drive on the Volibear. I don't know that I'm familiar with that tech. I guess it's really good with his lightning on his passive because it does magic damage. So as long as you've got full passive stacks on Volibear and you're autoing, you're always going to be going fast. So I kind of like that. Jin going to be having Lord Dominic's regards, collector game. With the building his IE next, he is going to be dealing a lot of damage later. Not so much right now because he's building the armor pen first. Meanwhile, Jinx has the IE and the Yuntal now, so she will be doing the damage now. Nami, very fed with the Imperial Mandate Malignance and upgraded support item. 10 Darksteel stacks. Kind of hard for UNI to deal with. Two members of UNI here. Not spotted by SIUE. I think if they were, maybe they would collapse, but collapsing is I think UNI are going to look to do on this Camille here, as they are just kind of hanging out. Volibear has not been spotted. Walking around, not been spotted. Camille might suspect because a lot of members of UNI are missing right now. So she's just kind of waiting. I'm sure she's got her E up. Just kind of hanging out. Looks like UNI do not want to pull the trigger. They see NIU, sorry, I keep saying NIU, SIUE. Sees UNI in mid. Not gonna do anything. I think right now what we're gonna see is Jax get some bot lane priority, but it might be a little late as Camille's gonna rotate up. Maybe SIUE is positioned for Baron. Maybe we see them do Baron here. I don't know. Drake's coming up in 18 seconds, and SIUE has very high prio with the gold lead, even though towers are even. They have that 5,000 gold lead. And I think a lot of that, if I could see the amount of gold that each player has, I would be able to give you guys a better analysis on where that gold lead is. Camille's just going to go ahead and let her team do Dragon as she goes up to stop the Vex from pushing. That's good. They didn't need her help. UNI going to have to pick up the slack here as SIUE gets the soul with the 4 Drakes here, which means next Drake is the Elder Dragon. So, one of the teams got Otacon. I don't know who it was, but there's gonna be fight breaking out top here. Vex gets picked out by that cage, and so does Volibear to the Karma Tether. It is pretty devastating, as I was saying in that champion select. The Vygar cage, if you don't have a flash up, I guess Muffin Trooper did, there's nothing really that you can do. I think it's good that Muffin Trooper didn't flash there because like literally every member of SIU was there. I think it would have just been a waste. But SIUE are going to pick up that Baron. Textbook game, they are up 10 kills. They're just going to try to close it out by the books here, folks. If they get that Baron, they're probably just going to slowly push in lanes, look for picks. They have the draft for looking for picks, so they are going to do it. All right, now Vygar, level 17. 273 stacks, that's a lot of ability power, plus his Rabadons. Meanwhile in mid there's a fight. Not going to be finding any members here. That Jinjiao will saving his life, stopping those projectiles from doing damage. Top lane, we're going to be seeing Vygar maybe out of position. UNI, they're looking, they're desperate, they know that the gap is closing. Or sorry, the gap is increasing, and there's the gap, the time window for them to do something is closing rapidly by the minute. Every wave that pushes in is more tower chip damage for them with this Baron buff. As we see bot lane, it's going to be going down to these Baron creeps. We got 3 members of SIUE down here. Zoom out a little bit. I think that there's a fight going to be breaking out. Both teams are postured for it. UNI is expecting it, and SIUE is posturing for it. Looks like they're going to go ahead and not go for it because they've got this ward over here. This is their vision. They know that nobody on SIUE knows nobody on UNI is going to be in their top jungle, and they see nobody in mid, and they saw one person in bot, so the last place that they'll be is over here in this bush, and SIUE predicted that, or read that, excuse me, very well, and just decided to back up. They might be able to win the fight brute force, because they are ahead in 17,000 gold or so, but right now UNI are being watched by Modio, and they don't know it. Oh, they know it. Almost connecting with Muffin Trooper, but they're going to make it out. I don't really know what UNI's game plan here right now is, other than look for a pick, but SIUE is just playing so safe. They have to get this pick on Jin Zhao now. They are not going to commit. He's going to be half health. But I think what's going to go on here is that SIUE are just going to shove their Baron waves into the tower again. Yep, they get that middle tower. Excuse me, their turrets in this game. And they might pick up a middle inhibitor as Muffin Trooper gets caught out by that cage again. SIUE gonna pick it up a second kill on Nami. Jack's going in with a two-man stun here as Nick goes in to try to help, but mispositions himself. And two more members of UNI fall. Right now, it is Biohazard versus the world as they're gonna be coming in from top. And it's not gonna be enough as SIUE take game one. Let's go back to our Be Right Back screen. It's a very textbook game from SIUE, that game. We saw a lot of scrappy fights, a lot of not going for big, flashy team fights, except for when they happened. You and I were looking for them, but I think that maybe the draft was a little lacking in terms of a top laner or a jungler. I think that the Vex has really good pick potential. It just struggles a little bit when Volibear, their main angle is to just run at you, and Jax has to jump with his Q, which could be easily countered with Cage, both of them. I think maybe like an Amumu would be good. I know Amumu would still be Cage, but just free ult on all of those guys. So like they're not able to run. I think more CC in UNI's next draft, more reliable CC, excuse me, would be pretty good for them. I'm gonna go ahead and update SIUE so you have a small e. Oop, maybe not, as Streamlabs is quite upset with me today. Okay, no, I'll figure this out. If you guys are enjoying the stream so far, please do put a Go Cats in the chat. We love your support. And if you guys want to support us further, you can type !merch. It'll bring you to guardianproline.com. I'll read the whole URL for you. It'll take you to guardianproline.com/northern-iowa-panther-esports. You got shirts, t-shirts, jerseys that you can customize. They're cheaper than NFL ones, sweatshirts. I don't know if I said that. Polos and whatnot. And if you guys are interested and or just want to have a good time, Northern Iowa Knockout 3 is coming on October 25th. It's UNI's annual Super Smash Bros. Tournament. All players are welcome, whether you're more competitive or you are more relaxed. There's going to be games for you. Competitive players who proceed further in the tournament can look forward to a cash prize. Additionally, the event will be live streamed with casters. I'm not going to be there, but Hunter will be if you watch streams and like him. Again, it's for everyone, so bring your friends. You get a discount on your entry fee if you bring your own equipment or equipment that people can use. So please visit start.gg/tournament/northern-iowa-knockout-3/details for more information regarding parking, pricing, and scheduling. Registration is open now, and please note that registration for certain modes ends 3 days prior to the tournament, so make sure to check in advance for October 25th at noon. But we're going to be looking at game 2 here soon. I think right now they get a little bit of time to talk as a team, talk maybe, yep, they get to talk with the coach, be like, guys, let's do this, that, and the other thing. I think, I'm sitting on this throne just kind of yapping, but I think that maybe they'll hear, maybe they need to put down some better vision. Maybe they need to, I'm hesitant to say go for it because there was um, a chase. There was a couple chases in that game where UNI chased and mispositioned themselves. I think Nink needs to think about going into next game where they are positioned, because it seems like from where I'm sitting, like maybe he's stepping up to do some damage to get his teammate out of trouble. I don't know if he should do that or just let him die. I legit don't know what the call is there. That is a rough one, but I'm sure that they are talking about it right now. I'm gonna take a drink of water here. All right, and right now I'm just waiting for the draft link for game two. So we're just gonna kind of hang out and chill for a minute. Um, yeah, be right back. All right, I got the invite. We're gonna be coming in here. If I leave this music going quietly, I wonder if that's entertaining. Anyways, here. Ooh, I gotta join the spectators. Okay. Here's this draft link. I'm gonna go ahead and put the old one in here too. Okay. Okay, so you guys should be able to see the bands now. Maybe make that bigger so it's not as awful to look at. There we go. Okay. So going into game two here, let's take a look at the previous draft. So we're not going to be able to see Jin, Nami, Volibear, Vex, Jax, or Jin Zhao, Jinx, Karma, Vigar, or Camille. And I think the way it works is... Yeah, so we are also not going to see Kha'Zix, Senna, Dr. Mundo, Ornn, Shen, Ryze, Nasus, Darius, Smolder, and Seraphine. We're going to see none of those characters. Going into game 2, here comes the pick and ban. Our draft. I don't know, I hope this doesn't drown me out. I kind of like the idea of music during the pick and ban. We'll see. Looks like UNI are going to be the first one to ban again. First pick, first ban. So I think they might be doing a coin flip for that. I don't know. And whoever wins chooses. I think that may have been the first game. I'm not really sure how that works out. But you know, personally, I said this before. I do prefer having that last pick in the bag. The counter matchup in top, to me, is just so important in that 1v1 lane, that island. You need to have a top laner that's able to come to get ahead and be able to do stuff. Now, I'm not saying that Jax wasn't able to do that into the Camille counter that game, but I don't know. And you could say Camille doesn't counter Jax. I would agree. I don't know. It's a weird matchup. It's very skill based. While they're picking here, we're gonna see UNI ban Senna, which is they did that. Oh, they're oops. So they're just repeating the bans, it seems. Let me see. I'm reading the rules again. Sorry, guys. 10 standard bans plus 10 fearless bans, which are champions used in game 1, so for a total of 20. So okay, so they don't. Okay, I think I understand how this works a little bit better. Because it is a little bit confusing when they start talking about fearless draft. The same bans in all 2 or 3 games, like the bottom part, but the additional bans will be the characters that have been picked. So all of these are banned. UNI lock it in the Lux at the start. That is something you don't see every game in like team drafts. That is a very solo queue character, but can offer a lot of utility and damage if played correctly in the team environment as well. That ult is long range. It's a little easy to dodge, but if you're able to get some CC, I wonder if we're gonna see UNI draft some more CC. It can change the game quite a bit. Meanwhile, SIUE gonna be picking up a Jinx. Can they do that? I'm sure we'll hear about that in the next couple of minutes, because I'm pretty sure they can't pick Jinx because they picked Jinx last game, but they have a tendency, all the teams in this draft lull, to accidentally pick one thing and they're like, oh crap, we made something else. It's fearless. So there might be some confusion coming from SIUE right now. I think that they can pick Jinx, but they can't pick Jinx because it's fearless draft. Oh, they picked Jinx and Karma. Oh, so there is a little bit of chaos happening among the ranks. Okay, one team is looking for a redraft. I fear that there may be an official called to this match, as that has a tendency to happen. When these things happen, you need somebody from the league to come and sort it out and make sure things get done in the most fair manner that they can. But we'll see what goes on here. I'm actually just gonna go ahead and throw up the be right back link or screen, because there is some confusion. I'll tell ya, viewers at home, I think it will be quite the shock for SIUE to find out it is Fearless Draft, because of the whole you can't play somebody you already played. It makes it really hard for the one tricks and people who have those comfort picks. So we'll see what goes on. I think they're just going to redo the draft back to their pick 1. I think UNI are going to keep the Lux. But that is partially why there's been so much hype around the Fearless draft for League for like the last year or so, whenever they started doing it. I'm gonna turn this off, it's distracting me. That whole you can't play who you've already played really gets into some people's heads. And, well, I don't know if I should say heads, but it is pretty tough, you know? Like, you're expected to do your best on maybe a character you don't always play or haven't played very much. But we're going to be looking at the bans here again. There we go. All right. We mean something else. Okay, I just listened to the music. It's not that loud. We'll be all right. I'll turn it down a little bit, like really a smidgen playing. Just a smidge. Or maybe I'll figure it out sometime. I don't know. Nobody's picking yet. I suspect SIUE are doing a little bit of a recalculation here. Because I know I would be, if I were on their team, going into a match expecting that you can play whatever and then you can't is a little bit of like, I'll say like a splash of cold water. So really quick, it looks like SIUE are going to go ahead and double check with an official because that fearless draft is so important for players to deal with. Just, you know, characters that you know, characters that you don't, it can make the world of difference. So I'm going to go ahead and shut up for a minute until they are officially underway. All right. Looks like they're going to get back in to the draft, which means that I can yap again. Really quick, if you guys are enjoying the stream or enjoy Panther Esports, put a Go Cats in the chat. Let's get a game 3 going. Let's get UNI to win this game. I do not want to see them get shut out 2 weeks in a row. It feels really bad to have that happen. And also, it's fun to do an interview when they win. So maybe if UNI wins, we do an interview. If you guys want, put it in the chat. I don't care. So a reminder, we're going to have Jin, Nami, Volibear, Vex, Jax, Jinzhao, Jinx, Karma, Vigar, Camille, Kha'Zix, Senna, Dr. Mundo, Ornn, Shen, Rise, Nasus, Darius, Smolder, and Seraphine all permanently banned for this series so far. We're going to see UNI get their Lux pick. We're going to see SIU come back with a Sivir and a Blitzcrank pick. Now I'll tell ya, you don't see Blitzcrank too often in the tournaments, but sometimes you do see him, and it's pretty fun. I think he's not a bad character to pick. I think that you and I are going to have to play very, very carefully in that bot lane, because that Blitzcrank hook could spell trouble all the time. I am an ADC player of a long time, and Blitzcrank, I have learned to be in the mind of a Blitzcrank, and I know what he does before he even does it, so I try not to get hooked in that aspect, but at the end of the day, sometimes a hook comes flying out of a bush or over a wall where you have no vision, and there's not a lot that you can do. So you and I are just gonna have to constantly be worried about that. You and I going with the Trundle. So far, it looks like you and I are going for a little bit more of a scrappy team again. That Lux is a little bit more of a scrappy pick, that constant poke. We're not sure if we're going to see the Lux in the bot lane as support or if we're going to see the Lux in the mid lane as the mid laner. I think realistically she could be flexed to both. As an ADC player myself, I don't love Lux support, but it can be done. I think she's much better suited in the mid lane where she can farm and build damage items for her ult. But we're going to see the Victor pick from UNI showing that mid lane Lux is what it is. But UNI's got a clever draft this round, folks, because they've got the Trundle pick here that could also flex. So they've decided to maybe bait out a pick with the Lux there. And it seems that maybe they did because SIUE went Blitzcrank. Lux doesn't have an escape. If Lux goes bot, which I think she's going to, it is going to be little dicey. We're going to see SIUE respond with an Ari pick versus the Victor. I don't know who wins that matchup, counter pick wise. I want to say it's in Ari's favor because of her ult and her dashes that she'll get from it. Excuse me. And I think her charm is a little bit more reliable. If they get ganked for like a CC tool to get a pick than say a Victor W. But I think the Victor W in team fights gets a lot more value than the Ari charm. But we'll see what goes on here, as you and I have not really drafted for too much team fight potential so far with the Trundle pick. That guy is, as the character himself says, greedy. So we'll see. So Yui and you and I are going to go ahead and finish up their bans here. I wonder, they're probably counting down the clock a little bit so that they can get a little bit more time to discuss and plan and whatnot. Uh, if the stream crashes out again a couple minutes in or at any point, I will be able to fix it by spectating somebody on NIU or UNI. I keep saying NIU and I'm sorry. I went to a school called NIU for a little while. Anyways, it is going to be it's UNI, then SIU, then SIU, then UNI, then UNI, then SIU. Yeah, so it's going to be SIU pick next for their jungle or their top lane because I don't imagine Ari's going to be going jungle or top. And same with Blitzcrank and Sivir. Sivir's a pretty good late game carry. She's a little bit weak and a little bit boring to play for a long time. Her boomerang can do some poke, some decent poke, and her boomerangs, plural, the autos on the creeps can do a little bit of poke, but only really if you stand near the creeps for too long. But I don't think anybody's going to be doing that in this game. Nocturne coming out from SIUE, really strong ganker. Nocturne is a lot of pick potential with that ult, and it gets bigger as he puts more points into it. So they have been very good about the vision. We saw that in game one. Nocturne is going to benefit hugely from that support player on SIU. I think their name was Turbo. They played the Karma last game, constantly getting wards, constantly in UNI's face. I think that they are going to play off of that a little bit more, and that's what that Nocturne pick is for. And UNI are going to respond with a Kiana pick, which is really, really interesting because we see a Victor already. It makes you wonder, okay, so Kiana must be jungle because Victor's not going to go jungle. Victor's probably not going to go top. Kiana can jungle. I She could go mid. I think Trundle's going to be top for UNI, which leaves their ADC carry open, or their ADC position open. Okay, so UNI coming in with a spicy draft. I like what I see tonight. I do not know who is going where or who has picked what, so we're just going to have to wait and see until we get in on who is going where and what's going to go on here because UNI has a bunch of different flex picks. Lux could go support or mid. Trundle could go jungle or top. Victor could go mid. I think Victor might just be going mid. Kiana, or I mean, I don't know actually. Victor has a pretty safe kit. He's got some good range, and we're gonna see Gwen come out from SIUE. I think it's gonna be Renekton top, Victor bot or mid, Kiana mid or jungle. I don't know. I don't know. We're gonna have to see when we get in here. SIUE side, we're gonna see Sivir, Blitzcrank bot lane, pretty standard. Ari mid, Nocturne jungle, and Gwen top. Very normal draft from SIUE. UNI might have the advantage here on the zany draft, but we'll see because it's gonna take some skill and finesse to execute. All of these characters on UNI's side are, how do I put this? Um, I think they can all work together. I don't know. The Trundle's kind of weird. Trundle's kind of weird to me because UNI doesn't have a. I don't really see a frontliner. Like I could see Blitzcrank being a frontliner or pick potential guy. Uh, the way a lot of UNI's kits are on their characters is they're gonna have to use their escape tool to engage. So the Kiana dash, the Renekton dash, the Trundle pillar, the Lux Q. All of those tools can help them escape from a bad fight, but as soon as they use they need those tools. Or let me start over. They need those tools to start a fight and win a fight. So they're gonna have to commit a lot harder and um, just more successfully than they did in game one. Otherwise, they're all going to fall behind. Kiana with no items isn't going to do any damage. Lux with no items is going to do negligible damage, especially if she's in support. Trundle, well, if he has no items, what's he going to do? Just auto you for 10 minutes? He's going to get melted. He gets melted anyways, and the only reason he lives is if he beats you in an auto battle. Kind of the same thing with Renekton. We're just going to have to see how UNI plays this and who goes where. Sivir is always going to be reliable for SIUE as long as they get gold. They will scale. They will push waves. Like Sivir's so extremely reliable. Blitzcrank might be hit or miss for SIUE. If the hooks aren't hitting, then he's kind of just got to run at them and knock them up. Ari, if the charms aren't hitting, what's she gonna do? If the wards aren't good for Nocturne, he's not gonna be able to ult. And I I think that those four members of SIUE are going to be able to do stuff no matter what. I think that Gwen might run into problems this game because she is a bit more of a uh, duelist or bruiser fighter person. So, and she specializes in killing tanks, but you and I didn't really draft a tank. So we'll see. She can take towers pretty quickly. She's pretty strong in the 1v1, but I don't know. I don't think that she beats Renekton. I actually think that Renekton hard beats her because he can just dash into her invulnerability circle and stun her from there. So I don't know. We're gonna have to see what goes on here. We got 40 minutes plus the 3 minutes. I am gonna go ahead and give my voice a little bit of a break. I'm getting a horse, and I will play music, and we'll be back in a couple minutes. All right, game 2 underway within a few seconds here. Let's see if my client explodes again. I don't know that it will. I was messing with some stuff in Streamlabs the last time it did before the game started. I didn't do anything midway through the game when it crashed out, but we'll see what goes on here. And I'll update the visual for you in a moment when I can. All right, let's dive in to this load screen and maybe we'll get a clue as to what is going on with the oh, excuse me. I don't think that that was the right thing to click. No, it was. Okay, we'll do this. All right, so I think it's gonna be Gwen Renekton top because we see Dalai Lama and we see Haha Baguette. I think it's gonna be actually Victor Lux bot lane because Nink is on Victor and Nink traditionally goes bot lane. I think it's gonna be Kiana mid because we saw Muffin Trooper in mid and they got the mid diff tag. And it's gonna be the Trundle in the jungle. Now, something we gotta keep in mind here is that Trundle jungle, while it is a little bit greedy, is no joke. The pillar is really, really hard to deal with if you're Blitzcrank and Sivir. Ahri and Gwen do have built-in escape tools that they don't have to use their flash for. Ahri can ult and get a dash through the pillar and just run away that way. And Gwen can just use her E and dash through the pillar that way. I'm not sure. I think Gwen is immune. I think Gwen is immune I think if she gets pillared when she's in her W, it doesn't knock her up. I'm not 100% on that interaction, but if it does knock her up, that's gonna be most annoying for SIUE. So right now, UNI gonna be pulling out in to the top jungle all together, the 5-man group pinging together. Meanwhile, SIUE are going to be down here. Let's see SIUE's vision or UNI's vision. If SIUE mess up, all of UNI will see them and the plan will be for naught. Meanwhile, this is what SIUE sees. Both teams looking for a 5-man cheese, but both teams are on different continents, just like the Cougars and the Panthers. Turbo going to be going out into vision here. I'm certain that UNI saw him. They are all going to be walking back here, seeing that there was a 5-man invade, and nothing is going to be going on. Unless they stay here, I don't think that they're going to. Oh, I forgot to look up League Spectator, how to see gold. Maybe it's X? It is X. Awesome. So now we can see their gold and gold earned. And that's going to be really helpful for later when a team is ahead and has a gold lead. How we can diagnose maybe what's going on, analyze what's happening, all that stuff. So it's I don't know how bot lane's going to go. It's all going to be up to Turbo whether or not they can land hooks, and it's going to be up to Jinx whether or not they can land the Lux bindings. He's got the hook ready, hasn't used it. Jinx binding on cooldown. Meanwhile, top lane, they are just going to be fighting, or they're going to be farming for the first wave or two. Doesn't look like there's going to be a hook from Turbo. Jinx positioning behind the creeps. Okay, Turbo, level 2, gonna be picking up the knock-up, lands the hook on Jinx, Lux knocks them up, Jinx flashing away. I'm going to just be calling Jinx their character name from now on because it is very confusing. Sorry. UNI spot Nocturne with a ward right here. I do like that ward. Meanwhile, top lane, Renekton gonna be getting that level 3 priority, shoving in the wave. I don't know if UNI... Okay, so UNI knew that he started top side and they saw the Nocturne, so Renekton doesn't actually need to back here if he doesn't want to. He can go over here, set up a ward, but he's just gonna go ahead and back. I think that's good. Meanwhile, bot lane, looks like Ning Fury just got grabbed by the Blitzcrank. He's gonna have to use his flash, or no, he doesn't use flash, excuse me. But the Blitzcrank did use the Ignite, so that is one summoner spell down for the bot lane here as Blitzcrank gonna be hiding in the bush. This is what UNI sees. getting revealed a little bit there. I'm going to go ahead and pull up frames so we can see ability cooldowns. UNI's vision is this. They don't see him. They don't know where Nocturne is. He could be in this bush, but he is up here clearing off his blue. Looks like this this Modio player really favors doing his camps and then skipping that last buff until last. And I kind of like that because it means that that buff is going to be on you for a little bit later than it normally would for a standard jungle clear. And that can enable picks after you back and go across the map potentially. But he's going to go ahead and put a ward on Biohazard's Raptors. Brianna's going to be a little bit slower in the clear here with Trundle. You expect that early Trundle clear is a little bit slower just because he doesn't get that much in his E doesn't do damage. And missing out on damaging abilities is going to slow down your clear. Top lane, going to be using our teleport to go back to the lane here. Gwen, that is interesting as Renekton is able to just recall and come back, has a little bit of a gold lead. See that the SIU mid laner has a little bit of a CS lead and their bot lane is ahead by quite a bit here. Currently 200 gold ahead and has a Lux flash on cooldown. Nick has to play really careful, ends up getting grabbed, flashes away, and I was just about to say, now both flashes are on cooldown. If I'm Nocturne, I'm looking to maybe look bot right now that I know both flashes are on cooldown, but it is pushed into UNI, so not a ton that an early game Nocturne can do with that. Maybe Blitzcrank can look for a hook here. It's up. Turbo doing the mind games, just kind of walking around. Meanwhile, UNI going to be stepping in, doing a little bit of adventuring into SIU's bottom jungle. Getting the missing calls. SIU doesn't know where they're at. This is their vision. Meanwhile, University of Northern Iowa do not know that SIU are on this scuttle. Dalai Lama, gotta be careful here. Is gonna be careful. Oh, I don't know. So this is what he sees right now on the map. Does not see Nocturne, but he's over here counter jungling, taking camps. That's because he put this ward over here, and he knows, or he did know previously. He's kind of Modio doing a very good job tracking Biohazard's movements this game. Biohazard gonna be going for a bot Drake here. They do have a little bit of priority with the wave, but definitely not in gold or items. Although the SIU's bot lane has it back, so I think what we're gonna see here is UNI maybe get this Drake. They're gonna run. They don't have the damage for it. It is because all three of them have not backed yet. But they are gonna go back now. Unfortunately, it looks like UNI are gonna miss a wave. Cannon wave here on their bot turret. I don't think it's going to stay. I don't think they're going to make it in time. Meanwhile, top lane, Renekton building up a steady, dominating double CS lead over the Gwen, netting him a good 600-700 gold lead in the top. That's what you want in the 1v1 matchups in the top lane. You want to be winning. Mid lane, it's relatively even. Ari's got an edge, a little bit ahead of money in farm. And bot lane is very much in favor of SIU right now. He's Nocturne. Path is towards mid. So paths is a little bit more correct. As 4 members of SIUE are down here. Nocturne gonna be landing his tether on Muffin Trooper. Kiana flashing away before the tether completes. UNI, this is what they see. They know Nocturne is here. They know Ari's here. They know bot lane's missing. They know that Drake is being taken, potentially. Right now, SIUE are going to sneak into the bot lane. Going to walk into vision here. Neither team really wants to go for the Drake here. I'm noticing tonight a lot that both teams are really, really, really towing around fights. They're beating around the bush. They're towing the line, you know? Like, they don't really want to commit too hard. And it seemed to work out in SIUE's favor a little bit more last game. Nocturne gonna be dragging the Drake out here. It's a smart call because this guy, I think he plays jungle a lot based on his clear, based on his decision making. He might suspect that there's a ward over here because this is in the side of the pit. As you can see, that red ward is not revealing NIU's or University of Northern Iowa's ward, but they know that they're taking it. I think Trundle, you need to finish up that blue and look for a Grubs. But it might be too late as Blitzcrank coming around behind with the Nocturne ult. Ooh, I keep pressing buttons. Kiana getting just massacred by 3 different people there. Nothing that they can really do to outplay that when their flash is on cooldown. SIUE Audio going to be rotating up onto the Grubs after that mid play. So the Drake into mid play into Grubs is really strong right now. Turbo put down the ward here. I don't think Trundle noticed. He can see when the ward gets placed, but he didn't notice. Gets grabbed straight into the to the Gwen, excuse me. And Biohazard's going to be going down. UNI down about 1,500 gold or so right now. And both neutral objectives. They need to lock it in if they want to stop this leak. They need to stop the leak, plug the leak. And I don't know how they're going to do it because they have a Victor bot. It might be very good later, but the Sivir is just going to do so much damage and is going to be able to kite so well. You see? Both bot lanes kind of square up. Blitzcrank is finally back. He's going to be a little bit behind Sivir in XP, but that's okay because Sivir's a great solo laner. He can roam and Sivir has the spell shield up. It's not like UNI bot has a ton of pick potential if the Lux binding doesn't land. Blitzcrank walking up, looking. Does have his flash up. He wants to go for a flash play. Right now, Kiana's bot. SIUE knows they're going to go on Blitzcrank here. Kiana ult around the wall. Great value. Picks up the Sivir stun as well. Blitzcrank flashing back. Does he still have his hookup? He does. He could look to grab somebody under tower here. Jinx! Lux, you got to watch out. That's a dangerous Blitzcrank wall. But they do. Very good binding from the Lux there. Meanwhile, Muffin Trooper getting caught out in the Drake pit. Walking straight into the Ahri charm. Going to get chunked out by the Ahri. Has no ult to work with here. Here comes the Nocturne ult coming over the wall. Meanwhile, bot lane is not going to be rotating at all. Biohazard, Brianna doing their best to survive here. Blitzcrank, Hex Flash over the wall, knocking up Biohazard. Here comes the Victor AoE value I was talking about before, but it's not going to be enough as the Ahri dashes resets from every kill. Spells disaster for UNI. Meanwhile, top lane, Dalai Lama doing his best job to get that turret whittled down. It's tough because of the teleport from Gwen coming up. He has to back off, and I think he's got some money in his pocket to pick up Eclipse. That's a big power spike for Renekton. Now, Gwen does have, I almost said Ninja Tabby. Shows my age a little bit there. Plated steel caps. Used to be called Ninja Tabby. And that makes Renekton's life a lot more difficult. It mitigates a lot of the damage from all of his autos, but especially his W. Just really quick here, let's look at the vision from NIUE. They got a ward here, wards there, deep ward here to keep track of Biohazard in the jungle, along with that Scuttle, and Blitzcrank putting up a ward and hanging out in the mid lane right now. But for UNI, we got a ward here, and a ward in their try. And unfortunately, no deep wards to track Nocturne, which you kind of need to do against the Nocturne because, you know, he can ult and you don't see anybody, and if you don't know where he's coming from, then, you know, it's just really hard to play around Nocturne when you can't see him, because normally you can't see him. But Blitzcrank coming around the mountain here. UNI see him. This is UNI's vision. They know they're there. UNI with a numbers advantage in mid, but meanwhile, this is what SIUE sees. Nocturne coming in. Fight breaking out in mid. The flash coming from Ahri. Blitzcrank going to be landing a hook on Trundle there. Biohazard getting taken out. His Turbo continues his tear through the rift this game. And last game. This guy is everywhere. He is a monster. UNI getting ganked by Turbo and they don't even see it coming. Now they know. They are between a rock and a hard place here as Nink has to make a decision. Makes the call to throw down his platform thing there. Here comes Nocturne coming in from the bot lane. Tries to flash out, but Nink flash gets interrupted by the Blitzcrank knockup. And Jinx's Lux is left to pick up the pieces under turret here. And I think that they are going to go down along with the turret, maybe? I don't know. Here, Lux ult coming, clearing the wave. That's a good Lux ult. A little bit of poke damage, but I think it was mostly to clear out that wave and stop them from taking the tower. Modio's going to realize the prio he has in mid lane and the bot lane. is going to go ahead and take this Drake. He's got this ward here to see when somebody's going to be coming to try to steal. He's got a ward here to see. So really good vision play by Turbo on SIUE in this game. Right now, Nick Fury caught in a weird place. Blitzcrank is behind him. It's okay, they're not going to do anything, but something could have happened, and that's what's important. Meanwhile, let's look at the gold advantages here. So Renekton still with a solid lead on Gwen. The gap has closed a little bit there between those two as Gwen picked up a kill earlier. She's down only 300 gold now. There is a 2,000 gold deficit in the UNI's jungle. They have to find a pick on Nocturne for the shutdown. They have to find a pick on Ahri for the shutdown. As there's also a nearly 2,000 gold difference in the mid lane as well. Meanwhile, for the UNI bot lane, there's about a 1,000 gold difference in both positions there. So UNI losing by a total of around 15,000 gold right now. Having a rough time. Blitzcrank coming out with the roam. The hook connecting onto Nick Fury there, and he's just going to go down. Nothing he can do. The Blitzcrank is a demon when you don't have flash up. He just runs at you. Lux doing her best to kind of slow down this push, but it is really tough because just like Victor, Lux has no escapes, and as we see, gets hooked by the Blitzcrank, and then the rest is history, unfortunately. Right now things are looking pretty dire for UNI. Blitzcrank continues his roam around the rift. Somebody stop this man as he just traipses into UNI's topside jungle again. This guy is crazy. Modio looking at the advantage he's got in mid and top. And with the Blitzcrank on him and the Sivir here, they're going to go ahead and take Rift Herald. Now they did get their Feet of Power some time ago. I never called that out. And I never saw which one it was, but Gwen, or not Feet of Power, or which one it was. I get confused with Otacon and Feats, but a lot of Fiesta happening here as Blitzcrank hook misses, Gwen flashes, Renekton flashes. But no pick is found. Dalai Lama doing his best to stay up here, keep the pressure up in the face of this terror of a Blitzcrank. Meanwhile, bot lane, Gwen gonna TP behind Muffin Trooper here. No flash up on the Kiana. Oof, unfortunately sidesteps into that charm. Really nice try by Kiana, but that sidestep was the death of them. It was so close range, I think he was dead no matter what. I'm thinking about it. So right now, UNI's goofy draft is not working out for him. But I think that there is time to change that because Trundle can push crazy later. Blitzcrank hook landing on the Lux here. Nocturne going to be ulting the Lux there. I think that's a little bit much to commit, but Trundle, Biohazard, Brown flashing away. Nocturne flash over the wall, very aggressive. Pillar not going to connect as Blitzcrank walks up, knocks him up, and runs away. It's Blitzcrank, man. He is quite the menace as he just roams around the rift. Look at him. Looking for a connect here on the Kiana with the 3 people. You know, it's tough for Kiana right now because you do have to, you know, push out the wave. You can't be giving away this turret right now. This is what UNI see. SIU see this. UNI, Muffin Trooper, and Jinx, they do know the Blitz was there. Rifthold couldn't connect with that bot tier 2 tower. Blitzcrank hook missing from over the wall. I think that's it for that. I think that both teams might walk away unless they find a way to catch this Blitzcrank. I think if you're UNI this game, you look for the Blitzcrank here. Blitzcrank is just as immobile as every member of UNI, and if you catch this guy out of position, which he is all the time, look at this, a beautiful hook by the Blitzcrank. I think that was I don't know if he was envisioned there. We'll check back after, but Luxall getting a lot of value here. This is where the comeback happens. I'm gonna have to recast this because I'm distracted, but Sivir Flash going out, Turbo with the knock-up and the Ignite on Biohazard. They're just going to do their best to run away. Nink kiting here. Everybody stepping on Vision. Finally, this control ward going to be going down. So, going to do a bit of a rewind here to see if this Blitzcrank hook was a soul read or if if the ward spotted them. So, speed it up just a bit. Alright, Nick's backing here. This is SIU's vision, so literally on the very edge of that ward. That is wild work. Speed ahead a little bit. SIUE gonna pick up an Infernal Drake, and it looks like they pick up a member of University of Northern Iowa as the vision in their jungle. This is what I was talking about earlier with the Nocturne. He just gets so much value for so little from a ward as Lux goes down. Muffin Trooper doing his best to survive. Dalai Lama's here. He's strong. He's level 13. This is an angry Renekton. This is how UNI can turn it. Get that Renekton in there and away from the top lane. It's not going to be enough. UNI watch as they take a camp. Unfortunately, Biohazard falling behind in the jungle. It is tough to come back, but we'll see. There's a lot of catch-up XP in the jungle, so if they counter jungle, I think that's a good way for Volibear, or excuse me, Trundle to find his way back into this game. UNI see that they're taking Otacon, but they're not going to be able to contest in any way, shape, or form. Jinx, Lux going to be doing their best to secure some vision here as they spot the Gwen out here. Throws a control ward in that bush. Is not able to root the Gwen because she is immune. So they got, yeah, SIUE got the Otacon buff, which is I don't know. I can't tell. I can't tell. Sorry, folks. Do a little bit of an examination at the gold difference here, but I'm actually not going to do that because right now the fight's going to break out. So right now, UNI sees this, SIU sees this. The ward has been spotted by SIU. UNI is very low on vision right now, and they are trying to make a play. The Nocturne is going to come at them from nowhere. This is what UNI sees. They are going on that Blitzcrank, which is what I was saying earlier. That's good. Kiana getting in there, disrupting the Nocturne and Sivir so they can't engage on that Gwen TP. Very well played, Muffin Trooper. Nink pushing out the wave. Everybody kind of here hanging out. Meanwhile, bot lane, Ari just kind of hanging out, pushing. I think that that is a turret for SIUE. I think she could have stayed and got that turret. Actually, maybe that would have been a bad idea because Kiana's coming through, but everybody just kind of going back to their positions. UNI only down about 6,000 gold now. Getting some of those shutdowns really helped. They got that Blitzcrank, that Menace finally died. Now they just need to get the Sivir, and everybody on SIUE will have died once. Sivir's also got a bounty, 400 gold. Here comes Nocturne from downtown. There's not a lot that Flashless Kiana can do. While over here, let me fix my camera doesn't want to fix. There we go. Blitzcrank gonna be pushing in mid. Here's what UNI see. All members of SIUE are missing. They see the Blitzcrank. I think at this point UNI's got to know if Blitzcrank is around, Nocturne is around. And yes, he is. They are just going to pick off another turret from UNI. SIUE now up 4 turrets on UNI's 1. UNI could have a way back into this game if they manage to find some picks and get a Drake, but I don't know they're going to be able to do that as their strongest member, Renekton, has just fallen. It's very tough keeping up with all of the vision in your jungle when you're UNI right now, because stepping out anywhere is stepping out into this, and you don't know where the Blitzcrank be lurking in there. So like right now, Kiana has to step up and maybe get some farm because they can't go into the jungle, but the Nocturnal and the Ahri come over the wall, and there's just nothing that Muffin Trooper can do. Bit of a lull in the game as objectives respawn and whatnot. Let me pull up the objective timers. Go Drake coming up in 30 seconds, and UNI not there, and SIUE are on top of it. Kiana doing her best to get top lane pushed in prio, though I don't know that they need it, because look at them, they're just waiting and dancing. Because what else do you do right now? All your lanes are pushed in. I mean, I guess there's these 2 camps. You've already ransacked UNI's jungle. Here comes Blitzcrank in this hook, in this bush, excuse me, waiting. Gets the hook. Lux is just deleted from League of Legends as SIUE continue their domination. I like the look for the ward from Lux here, but it did unfortunately cost them their life as they lose another ward and Blitz puts one in there. It's just really, really tough for UNI to come back from this with the Nocturne. Every time you step out, Kiana, he's going to ult you, and she blows her flash again to live. I think maybe right there, I maybe would have just taken the death. You're not worth much gold at this point. But that flash is really helpful for engages. Meanwhile, bot lane, Gwen, going to be shoving it in. As UNI have more of SIU wards in their jungle. Can't really push out. It's tough. Everybody's got sweepers on UNI too, but they're like literally all of SIU's wards are constantly being put down in UNI's jungle. I'd be interested to see the ward division scores after these games, as SIUE right now pick up an easy Baron and maybe look to close out this game the same way they did the last one. Just walk up with the creeps, pick off the turrets where you can, like this one, maybe this one. Renekton's shoving this one out, so maybe not. All members are here. Fight breaking out as Kiana tries to catch Gwen out of position. But it is Kiana who is caught out of position as she gets exploded. And now Biohazard gets exploded with the Blitzcrank hook. And it is unfortunate. Because Nick also died in there. Where is he? Anyways, Gwen just going to be pushing out the top here. They did have to stop the Baron. So, unfortunately... Oops. I think that's a way to reveal... Never mind. Baron is up. Elder coming up in a couple minutes. The SIU Cougars have that... SIUE Cougars have that... Oh, excuse me. Oh my gosh, they have the soul. I couldn't think of the word soul. They have the soul buff, which is giving them that infernal soul, that damage proc. Right now, Haha Baguette clearing on a ward for UNI. That may have been their only shot for a pick, but they could not move over and make it happen. Jinx walking into Blitzcrank. Gotta be careful here. Blitz put down the ward. UNI, no Blitzcrank is in that bush. We'll see if SIUE clear that vision out as 3 members take the Baron. We're going to see Gwen reset after the Baron to deal with this bot push and shove that in. Meanwhile, the other 4 members of SIUE... Oh, Gwen's going to push top first. Oh yeah, they don't need to. The other members of SIUE are going to go ahead and posture for a fight here. Blitzcrank looking very ravenous. This is what UNI sees. They don't know. Put away the scoreboard here. Blitzcrank was spotted for a second by Muffin Trooper, but they have no flash to work with, so they're going to have to use their dash as their source of engage. Gwen going to be running up, taking the turret with that Baron buff and all that AP. Using the Gwen ult and the Lux ult and the Renekton ult. Here comes the Nocturne ult. So many ults being used, and the Kiana ult finding 2 members of SIUE to stun. That's huge. Nocturne going down and Trundle going down. Meanwhile, Nick Fury in the Zhonya's under turret. Gets knocked up and gets picked off. The Sivir finding too much value late into the game. Level 15, now 16. Has 3 items. It's really hard to out-damage and win versus a Sivir in a team fight like that, folks. Even with all the great CC and whatnot that UNI had in that fight, that was a brilliant Kiana ult by Muffin Trooper. It's not enough as Sivir closes out the game for their team. And UNI lose 0-2 to SIUE. This is an unfortunate outcome tonight, folks. Oops. Oop. There we go. Is that it? There we go. I'll transition that just so it's 2. Very unfortunate outcome tonight, folks, as SIUE do manage to take down the UNI Panthers in their week 2. We're not going to be doing an interview. Oh, no, I could have looked at the stats. Oh, man. My bad. Anyways, I feel like UNI showed up pretty strongly tonight. They had a lot of good plays, but I think they struggled a lot in terms of vision and maybe executing on certain plays. Like in game one, and actually just both games, they had a couple of really good picks, or sorry, really good catches on people, but they weren't able to turn them into the picks that they needed to maybe transform it into a win. I don't know. The jungler on SIUE and the support on SIUE were playing out of their minds tonight in terms of vision and working together. That last game with the Nocturne, I feel bad for Kiana, just basically not being able to play. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the stream tonight. Just a reminder, if you want to support us, type !merch, click on the link, take you to guardianproline.com. There's t-shirts and jerseys and stuff in there. And if you guys are interested in Super Smash Brothers, Northern Iowa Knockout 3 is happening on October 25th. Make sure to sign up in advance. There's prizes, cash prizes, and there's more relaxed games if you're into those, and it's casted. So head to start.gg/tournament/northern-iowa-knockout-3/details for more information regarding the parking and pricing and whatnot. But I'm not going to delay it anymore. Thanks for coming out tonight, folks. It's been Joe, and it's been good. You guys have a good night. Bye-bye.
For the losers bracket, but I have high hopes for these guys. Colin goes to the backboard, double touch, and he gets it.
He's got sight and a good pick. Another good pick. And another. He's going crazy with it.
Oh! That was disgusting.